Alright, hello everyone, this is T Henry Michta, and today I will be going over my final assignment for the class Project and Portfolio 4, which is my level, Shady Pines Cemetery. This level was created for last week's NPC Bob the Tarman-Skeleton and his item, the Bone Sword Pickup. Before I get to that though, let me take a minute to go over Week 1's diagnostic assignment. In Week 1, I attempted 2 diagnostic games. They were Tic-Tac-Toe and Memory Match. I found both these games to be quite challenging without the use of tutorials, but in the end, I'm happy I didn't give up, and I'm very proud of the end result. Next, let's go to my resume. Here's my final version. In it, I condensed down the information to be more concise with the information I'm trying to get across. At the bottom, I have my links from Week 1's diagnostic assignment, as well as a new video walkthrough I did last week, which highlights my NPC Bob the Tarman-Skeleton and his item, the Bone Sword Pickup. Next, let's take a moment to talk about my Scrum experience. Within my simulated Scrum team, we were given a lot of leeway to determine how to tackle the assignments for the class's projects in the best possible way based on our skill level and the philosophy empiricism. In the philosophy empiricism is a theory that states that knowledge comes primarily from sensory experiences. I found the assignments and the class as a whole to be a sensory experience worth the time and effort I put into it. Okay. Next, I'll briefly go over this week's Trello card. In it, I have a brief backstory, as well as this week's data documents, high-resolution image files, and the 10 steps I took to create my level, Shady Pines Cemetery, and the Shady Pines Forest around it. Some highlights are deciding on a final concept for the level, creating a blockout, multiple static objects like gravestones, a picket fence, and dirt pathways. And lastly, I dropped in my prefab items from last week, Bob the Tarman-Skeleton, and his bone sword item, and tested them thoroughly. Now let's go to the data document. Okay. In it, I have a general attribute section. I have a data section, a visual attributes description section. In the end, I took my concept image from Week 1 and created a final level layout scene that I am very proud of. So finally, let's do a walk through my level and see how it all came together. But first, a quick backstory. Bob was a carpenter from a nearby village within the Kingdom of Hyrule. Bob was a dishonest man who cheated on his wife Helga. To get back at Bob for sleeping with the baker's wife, Helga went to the local warlock who put a curse on Bob. Now, as an undead warrior, Bob lingers in Shady Pines Cemetery, waiting for unsuspecting victims to wander in for him to feed on. Okay. In my Unity scene, you can see Shady Pines Cemetery at its center and Shady Pines Forest surrounding it. In it, I have also placed an array of static objects and items I created, like a picket fence surrounding the cemetery, 2 different types of gravestones, and 2 different colored types of trees. You can see Bob, as well as multiple bone sword pickups for Bob to interact with. Once he has the bone sword, Bob enters his frenzy state, and when he comes in close proximity of the player, who I call Mr. Peanut, he can injure him and even kill him after a few seconds. So let's do a quick playthrough. Okay, I have Mr. Peanut down here at the bottom. We can see that Bob's already picked up a bone sword and his speed is increased. So let's interact with Bob, and after a few seconds, Mr. Peanut is killed. So in closing, this month was quite a journey, but it was a journey worth taking. I feel that I have learned a lot and have grown as a game designer. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this recording.